What is going on, everybody? It's the Front, and we're here for a Smackdown review for last night's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Coming from you to you from, where was it? Alabama? Yes, they were in Alabama. It was the Fallout Show 2 Survivor Series, as SmackDown was the second place team overall. Of course, NXT won the night. They were in Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. The show starts off with Roman Reigns coming out. He does his usual grand entrance, comes in, wishes all a happy Thanksgiving day late, blessing for having a good family, says that says there was a lot to be thankful for because SmackDown kicked some ass at Survivor Series, even though they only won 2 matches out of the 7. Says he didn't do it on his own and chant for NXT stars to break out. Some fans boo Reigns. Reigns says it's all WWE, it's all one, but NXT didn't get the job done like SmackDown did, even though NXT dominated the night. He thanks his partners Chad Gable, Mustafa Ali, and Braun Strowman. Calls Baron Corbin a dummy, and we know who. And he brings him out. He wants him to apologize to the fans. He comes out, is not going to apologize. He takes shots at Reigns and talks about how he's better than Reigns. And why, as a king, he had a better Thanksgiving than everyone else. Which who cares what kind of Thanksgiving you had? Just because you had this size turkey and I had this size turkey doesn't mean a thing. He says, well, you want me in that ring, that's not going to happen, but I think somebody else you're going to have to deal with, and that is going to be Robert Roode. So Robert Roode comes out, they have a match. Roman Reigns ends up winning it, even though Corbin tries to help Bobby Roode win this with his scepter by arguing with the referee. 1, 2, 3. After the match, Reigns stands tall. Ziggler attacks Reigns from behind and beats him down. Ziggler cranks up for the super kick, but Reigns catches it and turns it into a Samoan drop. Corbin comes in, but Reigns knocks him out with sends him in the corner. Roode comes in with a scepter shot to the back, dropping Reigns. He mounts Reigns to a few, beats him up a little bit. Reigns goes for the timekeeper area, steel chair. He brings in the chair. As Corbin watches from the ramp, Roode enters the ring with the chair, stands it up, grabs the scepter. Roode grabs Reigns and puts his head down on the seat. He yells, "Say hello to your family." Goes to hit him with the scepter, but Reigns moves and knocks him out of the ring with a Superman punch. Corbin watches as Reigns looks up at the chair and sees how the scepter put a big dent in it. This does something emotionally to Reigns. He exits the ring and runs around, driving Roode through the barrier, snaps on Roode and throws a part of the barrier on top of him, then takes the announce chair desk and tosses it over him, grabs half the steel steps and swings them at Ziggler as he approaches, knocking him over the barrier for another pop. Reigns powers up and lifts the announce table up, flipping it over. Reigns music hits as he checks out the destruction with Roode. Corbin looks on and Reigns looks back at him. So again, another Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin set piece. We do not need to keep seeing Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. It's just I know why they're doing it. It's a placeholder until we get to WrestleMania season. And Roman Reigns is in that spot that Vince McMahon has been wanting him to be in since they broke up the Shield the first time. We get highlights of Daniel Bryan's loss to champion Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series on Sunday, and we cut to a new episode of the Firefly Funhouse where he hopes us all had a happy Thanksgiving. He is thankful for the Universal title. He holds it up and says it's only right that he also has one, and they show flashes of the Fiend holding a championship belt that has the Fiend's face on it that says "Let In," which to me must be where the Fiend's face is at. He loves his new toy and loves playing at Survivor Series so much he might do it again. He asks the Funhouse if they want to see him play with Bryan again. The laughing track comes up. They want that to happen. Then he talks to Bryan, and all he has to do is let me in. The Fiend flashes one more time as Wyatt waves goodbye, and that's all for the Firefly Funhouse. They did say that he was going to introduce a new character, but that did not happen at this time. Then we go to Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak. For what reason, I don't know. Ali wins with the Big Tornado DDT, 450, 1, 2, 3, and that was that. Just a good match between these two. These two are... I'd rather see Drew Gulak in this position getting beat by Mustafa Ali than getting squashed and embarrassed by Braun Strowman. I would rather have a hard-fought match than, hey, let's go have this guy get embarrassed for his PowerPoint presentation. So this was a better use for Drew Gulak than they've had since he's been moved to SmackDown. we get to Banks and Bailey. Bailey says, let's get one thing clear. They didn't come out here for a rah-rah speech because you can leave that to Raw. Banks wants to talk about what happened at Survivor Series. She and Bailey go on making excuses about Sunday's pay-per-view, saying Team NXT is not better. Bailey says SmackDown lost because the entire locker room let them down. They talk about taking shots at individual SmackDown stars. Bailey rants about how Carmella will never be as rich as she is. Bailey rants about Lacey Evans. Banks says the entire women's division makes her sick, and out comes Lacey Evans. Yes, they have made Lacey Evans a babyface. Lacey Evans comes out, said it's time to get a real woman to be the locker room leader. Even she goes on about her qualities as a Lacey Evans chant breaks out, and she actually plays up to the chants. Taunts them by tapping at Banks at the championship. He also said a real lady wouldn't have tapped out and given up, which didn't make Bailey too happy. Banks gets in her face, starts running her mouth, and gets dropped with the woman's right. Bailey just looks at her and does nothing. Evans exits the ring as Bailey checks on Banks. Evans marches up the ramp as the music hits. Bailey looks on for the ring as Evans taunts her from the stage. So it looks like after Evans, they had her as this big time heel in NXT. She was a heel down there. Her gimmick is the gimmick of a heel. You have her now be this babyface just makes no sense to me. But this just shows how bad the women's division in WWE is. That you have to take somebody who was bred and built as a heel to challenge for the women's championship for Bailey because of buying time to turn Bailey on Sasha Banks to get that match between Bailey and Sasha Banks that we should have had 2 years ago. So it looks like we're going to be going towards Bailey as a heel and Sasha Banks as a babyface going into either Royal Rumble or WrestleMania season, and we just have to wait until then. Until then, we have Lacey Evans as a babyface and Sasha Banks and Bailey as heels. Daniel Bryan is backstage. Taylor Braxton asks if he's ready to answer the challenge from Bray Wyatt, and we cut to a Firefly Funhouse segment. Bray walks up to Huskus the Pig Boy, who ate way too much Thanksgiving. He'll only be better when Bryant plays with them. Wyatt tells Huskus everything he knows about Thanksgiving is a lie. A bizarre Thanksgiving story that leads to a new Muscle Man music video, which will show you how to get fat with PH and not the F. Huskus raps the Muscle Man Wyatt dance to a Hades hip hop beat. Fiend flashes a few times as we see Bryant watching backstage on TV. Wyatt just wants to be let in. He screams out, not letting them appearance in or they will take over. Wyatt wants to be let in. The Fiend wants to be let in. Let him in. The segment ends. Kayla is backstage with Bryan as we hear a yes chant coming from the crowd. Kayla asks Bryan if he's up for the challenge, and he just stares off, and we go to commercial break. Nikki Cross and Sonya Deville. This was a match. Yes, it was a match. Rose takes the mic before the match and says she usually doesn't like to pick on how people look, but look at Cross. So we're going down this, look, I'm hot, you're not thing that we did when these guys were in a feud for the tag team titles. He says Rose says she looks like a plate of leftovers. Rose slaps across, stares her down. Rose leaves the ring. The bell rings. Cross rocks right into a big red hand from Deville. Match goes on for a little bit here. Roll up by Nikki Cross. Deville ends up for the win. 1, 2, 3. After the match, Deville and Rose attack Cross and beat her down. When out comes Alexa Bliss, who we have not seen since her and Nikki Cross were traded to SmackDown from Monday Night Raw. She comes down, makes the save, ends up the save by hitting a double suplex with Cross on Rose, and that was that. So that was your first of 3 returns on this night. There was a video package for Sheamus on this night as well. So Sheamus is not back physically yet, but he is finally, after what has been almost 7-8 months, is finally going to be making his return soon. Vince walks up to Bryan and basically asks if Daniel realizes how important he is to SmackDown. Says SmackDown can't afford to lose Bryan. His family can't afford it. Bryan turns and stares at Miz. Miz just shuts up and exits. So Miz trying to give some advice to Daniel Bryan didn't go over too well. Dana Brooke is backstage smiling and texting on her phone. Drake Maverick walks up in a suit and tries to kiss her under some mistletoe, but she is disgusted by him. Brooke also asks Drake about his marriage. He says it's complicated. The guitar suddenly starts playing. And Elias has made his return, and I guess he is a babyface as well. Elias takes a few shots at Drake with his new song, calling him a creeper, and say, "I wonder what it's going to be like when his wife finds out." That gets him off. While that gets him to leave as Elias continues to play, and Dana Brooke dances to it. So it looks like Elias is a babyface once again. Who knows? Maybe this is just a one-time thing. But what do they do here from there? I have no idea. Open Challenge Smackdown Tag Team Championship, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the New Day. New Day come to the ring. They want to open the challenge. You had Biggie with his sexual innuendos and everything just at a new height every single time. He talked about eating dog as well, which he was joking about, he said. Black Friday, opening the doors for the night, open challenge, Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro come out for the match. We have this match is your main event. This match started at 9:33. This match went about 15-20 minutes. Sami throws a fit at ringside as Cesaro argues with the referee. Kofi recovers and wastes time. Cesaro charges, but Kofi ducks and hits A Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2, 3. Did you really think Cesaro and Nakamura were going to win the tag team titles? You're funny. With Sheamus being on SmackDown, or coming back to SmackDown, did we just get the bar? Did we just get the bar to return? Because what was the point of breaking up the bar only to put both men to eventually be on SmackDown and have Cesaro in a new tag team instead of having him in the tag team that everyone knows and everybody actually loves to see him in, because the bar was freaking amazing. After the match, we go to Roman destroying Rude earlier tonight. Cole says Rude is being medically evaluated after being stretchered out. Daniel Bryan makes his way out to the ring. He talks about Universal Champion The Fiend, offering him another title shot if you just let him in. He's people giving him advice for The Fiend, and admits he went to Survivor Series very nervous because of how The Fiend might change him the same way he did to Seth Rollins and others, which made him realize the person he should have been this whole time. Bryan says he's claimed on many occasions that the Yes Movement is dead, but maybe, just maybe, you guys brought it back to life. He asks the fans if he should accept the challenge for Wyatt, and they chant yes. He says it doesn't feel right if he's not doing it with them, so he joins in on the yes chant, and the Yes Movement has returned. Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse music hits, and Wyatt appears on the big screen, and Wyatt agrees with the Miz that Bryan will change again if he goes through with this. He will take Bryan's mask off and show the world who you really are, which I thought was what we had at the beginning of this year. He goes on and taunts Bryan and says he almost forgot. He did promise everyone a new friend tonight, and Wyatt is a man of his word. Lights start to go down. The lights go to red. The Fiend approaches up from the hole in the ground, just like what the Blade and the Butcher and the Blade did on AEW this week. Pulls him down into the hole. He grabs him. He's pulling him under the ring. Bryan resists and fights the Fiend that applies the Minimum Claw. Won't give up. The Fiend puts Bryan under the ring and struggles for a few seconds. He goes down. You just see him just yanking at something, and he's just pulling out clumps of hair and is just throwing them up. He's pulling them down, throwing up, going down, pulling more up, and just throwing it until we hear the laugh. The normal laugh, and the ring goes off the air with the Fiend in the hole and hair all around him. Is Daniel Bryan going to be bald? Is Daniel Bryan going to be mangled? Is he going to have less hair? What are they going to do with Daniel Bryan? It looks like we're going to have another match between these two. This, of course, just like Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin, is a placeholder. They really don't have anybody else. I mean, if they wanted to give Kofi Kingston that shot, if Xavier Woods didn't get injured, they wanted to give him that shot to prove himself and at least give you something other than just Daniel Bryan between now and the Royal Rumble or even Elimination Chamber. I don't know. It's going to be interesting what they do. Will Daniel Bryan come to SmackDown next Friday with a messed up hairdo or being bald or whatever? Or is it just going to look like nothing happened? We'll just have to wait and see. Another episode of SmackDown, which was It was another episode of Smackdown. Nothing good, nothing bad, just there. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like what is like this video, find me on Twitter at the Franz, find me on twitch.tv/thefranz, and go check out the Franz Plays where I am playing through the Destiny 2 Red War campaign legacy version. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Unscripted. Until then, my name is the Franz, and I'll see you guys later.